Are you guys ready to learn a new stitch today? Now, do not go because this is not a hard stitch. I promise. It is one of those stitches that looks super hard, but it's actually extremely easy. Now, it does. Now, listen. It does have a... it does have a 12-row repeat. Wait. 10 of those 12 rows are all single crochet. The only ones that are not are these drop stitches, and they're super easy to do too. I'll show you how to do it. If you know how to single crochet, you got this. I'm going to show you how to do the rest. It's so easy. So this is the twister stitch, and it's done. This particular one is catty cornered from each other. So we got big twists right here, and then we have little twists right here with single crochets in between them. So I think, like I said, it's super cool. Even though it does have that long repeat, it's like I said, all the repeat rows are single crochet except for 2 of them, and those 2 rows are extremely easy to do. I promise. Don't look at it and say you can't do it. Don't do that, because you can. I promise you can do it. How would you ever know if you could if you didn't try? That's all I ask, is that you try. Because once you try, you'll see that you'll be able to do it. All right. So you can use this for whatever you want. As you can see, if I was to keep going, the big twists would keep going catty corner from each other. So I'm going to set this to the side, and we'll talk about the yarn that I use. So the twister stitch, you like? I like. Oh, I'm going to show you the back side. The sides are pretty straight. I tie off at my rows, so I have a lot of tails. You can carry your yarn up this side if you want, because this is the side that we always tie off on, the same side. I didn't do that, but... And here's the back side, and it's even cool too. Look at that. That's almost even cooler, man. Look at that back. That's the back side of the twists. I do wish I would have used a different yarn, though. It was a little splitty, and it got a little bit loose when I was trying to do my twists. But nonetheless, it's still quite beautiful. And yes, I like the back almost better than I like the front. I think, like I said, if I used a different yarn, I probably would have liked the back better, because the twist would have been tighter on the back. But they're still, I was thinking that's pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and I'll talk about the yarn. So the yarn that I use is Red Heart Soft. It's a 100% acrylic, medium weight, number 4. I use this teal color, and then I think that one's called Soft Blue. I'm not certain. I lost a tag. I'm sorry. It was tagless, but yes, that's the yarn that I use. You can use whatever yarn you want depending on what you're making. And then for this particular stitch tutorial, I did use a size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. All right, you ready to do it? The twister stitch. The possibilities, they're endless. Let's do it. All right, so this stitch is done in a straight multiple of 4, which means whatever you're making with it, you just chain in a number that's evenly divisible by 4. So for my stitch sample here, I chained 40 chains. All right, so depending on what you're making, you chain in a multiple of 4. All right, I do apologize for my dark yarn, but you'll see that the dark yarn is very easy. So what we're going to do for row 1 is we are going to single crochet in the second stitch from our hook. So we don't count the one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, we're going to single crochet in that second stitch. And we're going to work across, and we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. So row 1 single crochet in every stitch, and I will meet back up with you when we get to the end of our row. All right, so I've made it to the end of row 1, Now, whatever amount of change that you started with, you will have one less stitch. So since I mentioned that I started with 40 chains, I now have 39, and that's the number that I will keep for the whole time now. So, you know, whatever number you started with, you'll have one less than you did when you started, and that's the number that you have to keep from now on. You want to make sure that you count your stitches good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start row 2. So rows 2, 3, and 4 are exactly the same. All right, so we're going to start row 2 by chaining 1, and we're going to go right back into this very first stitch here, and we're going to single crochet, because that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And we're going to work across, and we're going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch of the row. So rows 2, 2, 3, and 4 are just single crochet rows. So you'll just put, we're on row 2 now, so you'll just put 1 single crochet in every stitch until you make it to the end of the row, and you'll have the same amount of stitches that you did at the end of row 1. And then we will chain 1 and turn, and we will start row 3, which is 1 single crochet in every stitch to the end of the row, same number of stitches. And then we will start row 4. We will chain 1 and turn, 1 single crochet in every stitch to the end of the row, and I will meet back up with you when we get done, we finish out row 4. So if you count row 1, you'll have 4 rows of single crochet. So we're on row 2 now, then we're going to do row 3 and row 4, and I'll meet back up with you on row 4, and we'll start doing our little twisters. All right, so I am coming to the end of row 4, and I'm going to switch colors at my last stitch. You don't have to switch colors if you don't want to. You can do it all in the same color. It'll be super pretty that way as well. But I'm going to go ahead and switch colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my last stitch like I'm going to do a single crochet, and I'm going to draw up a loop. And then I'm going to pull my new color through, the color I'm going to make my little twisters with, like that. Okay, and that'll end row 4. Now what I like to do is I'm going to clip the color I was just using off, because I don't want to carry it around with me. Now I'm going to take the tail of my new color and the tail of the one I just clipped and tie them in a little knot here so they don't slip away. Alright, let's go ahead and start row 5. Now row 5 is going to start the repeat rows for the whole pattern. And these little twisty things are not hard, so please do not be intimidated by them. Alright, row 5, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. Now we're going to start off by, this chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. We're going to put a single crochet right back into that very first stitch. Like that. Alright, so now we're going to do a big twister first. Alright. This is how it's done. Remember, it's not hard at all. Ready? We're going to yarn over and we're going to go into the next stitch and we're going to draw up a loop like that. And then we're going to go to the row below, to the stitch right below. You can see it right here very clearly. Here's the stitch we just went into. Here's the one right below it. We're going to yarn over and go into that spot and draw up a loop. Now make sure you draw it up tall. And now we're going to go into the next row below and the stitch right below. So we just went into that one. So we're going to go right here. Again, yarn over, go way down there. Draw up a loop, draw it up tall, even with the rest of them. And we're going to do that one more time. The row, one more row down right here, and the stitch right below. Here's where we just went into, and here's the one we're going to go into. So the rows just line up the stitches. It's very easy. Now this one right here, you want to yarn over, go into that one way down here, but you want to make sure that you draw up a nice tall loop, even with the rest, because we don't want our background to crumple. You know, if you don't get it tall enough, it'll crumple. But so we got it nice and tall, and you should have 9 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through all 9 loops. First twisty, done. And now you need to look for your next empty stitch, and sometimes it hides behind the big guy. Right there he is. And this is going to start the repeat of row 5. We're going to single crochet into that next stitch. Like that. And now we're going to do the tiny twister. That's what I call him. He's just a miniature version of this guy. So we're going to yarn over. Sorry. We're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop. And then we're just going to do it one more time in the row below, in the stitch that's directly below. So we're going to yarn over, go right into that, draw up a loop, make sure your loops are same length. You'll have 5 loops now. Yarn over and go through all 5. Tiny twister is done. And then we're going to single crochet directly into the next stitch. And this is what we're going to repeat all the way across. We're going to do big twister, single crochet, tiny twister, single crochet. And now we're going to do big twister again. You guys ready? Let's do it. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop. Row below, stitch below, right there. Yarn over, go into it, draw up a loop, nice and tall. Again, row below again, stitch below. So we just went into this stitch, row below, right there. Yarn over, go into that one, draw up a tall loop. One more time, very bottom. Row below this one, stitch below, right there it is. You can see they all just line up perfectly. Now on this one, yarn over, go into that very bottom stitch. Just make sure you do this one, pull up this one nice and tall, because we don't want it to, you know, crunch up our work. 9 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through all 9 loops like that. Big twister is done. Now we're going to single crochet into the next. Remember, he hides under big twister. It's the one that's empty, the next empty single crochet. All right, there it is. Now we're going to do tiny twister in the next stitch. Yarn over, go into the stitch, draw up a loop. Yarn over, go into the stitch, same or right below, row right below the stitch you just worked in. Draw up a loop. 5 loops for tiny twister. Yarn over and go through all 5. And a single crochet into the next empty stitch. And this is what we're going to repeat until we get near the end of the row. Let's do big twister again. See how easy it is? And don't worry if it takes you a little practice. Hey, it took me a little practice. So practice is what it takes. Then practice is what we shall do. Let's do big twister. Here we go. Yarn over. Go into the next stitch. Draw up a loop. Row below. Stitch below. Yarn over. Go into that one. Draw up a loop. Same height as the last one. Again, yarn over, row below, stitch below, go in, draw up a loop, pull it up nice and tall. Last one, row down, same stitch below, row below, yarn over, go into it, draw this one up nice and tall so we don't crumple up your work. There we go, even with the rest of them. 9 loops, yarn over and go through all 9. Big twister's done. Find your next empty single crochet, which usually hides behind big twister, but he's not now. He's right there. So go ahead and single crochet into that. There we go. Tiny twisters up next. We're going to yarn over, go in, drop a loop, stitch below and row below right there. Yarn over, go into it, drop a loop, 5 loops for tiny twister, yarn over and go through all 5, and single crochet into the next. That's it. That's what we're doing. Tiny twisters and big twisters and single crochets, but they're so easy. I'm going to show you one more time the repeat. Ready? We're going to do big twister. Yarn over and go into the next stitch and drop a loop. Yarn over and go into row below, stitch below, drop a loop. Yarn over and go into a row below and stitch below, drop a loop. One more time. Yarn over, row below and stitch below, drop a nice tall loop. Make sure everything's nice and tall, equal. This isn't scrunching. 9 loops on your hook. Yarn over. This yarn's slippery. Go through all 9 loops like that. And then look for your next empty single crochet. There he is. Single crochet into him. Tiny twister next. Yarn over. Go in, drop a loop. Yarn over, row below, stitch below. Drop a loop. 5 loops for tiny twister. Yarn over and go through all 5 and single crochet into the next. Alright, now we're just going to repeat this pattern until we get near the end of the row. Big twister single, tiny twister single, big twister single, tiny twister single, and I'll meet back up with you after our last big twister. We should have 1 stitch that remains. That's where I'll meet back up with you. Alright, so I've made it to the end of row 5, and I just did my last big twister here, and I should have 1 stitch that remained, and I do. I'm going to go ahead and single crochet into that last stitch, and you still should have the same number of stitches. Cool! You know what I think's even cooler though? The backside's pretty cool too. So what we're going to do for row 6, we're going to keep the same color on our hook real quick. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. The backside's cool. Sometimes I get a little loose, I guess, but I think both sides are really cool. That really looks like a twister, doesn't it? And the front side's pretty too, though. You do either side. Okay, now we're going to go across and we're going to do a single crochet into the first stitch. And we're going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch across. And you need to have the same number of stitches that we've always had. So 1 on top of your big twister. 1 on top of your single crochet. 1 on top of tiny twister. 1 on top of the single crochet, and repeat. Big twister, single, tiny twister, single, and big twister. Alright, so I'm going to keep going across, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until I make it to the end of row 6. Alright, so I'm coming to the end of row 6, and I'm going to go ahead and switch colors at my last single crochet, and I do have the correct amount of stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and go into it, the last stitch here, and drop a loop, and I'm going to bring in my other color. I can find the end of it. There it is. If you wanted to carry your yarn, you could, but I don't really like to do that very often, so I'm going to pull that through, and then I'm going to cut off my light color that I was just using and tie the tail from my new color to old color and start again. Now we're going to start row 7. So row 7, 8, 9, and 10 are all the same. They're just all single crochet rows. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. Okay, here's the front side of our work. We are just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch for row 7. And we're going to do the same for row 8, the same for row 9, and the same for row 10. So 4 rows of single crochet is what we're going to do. Remember to make sure that you have the same amount of stitches, all right? You should always have the same amount. All right, I'll meet back up with you when we make it to the end of round 10, and we'll switch colors again, and we're going to do our twister row, but we're going to do them a little bit catty corners from each other. All right, so 7, 8, 9, 10, all single crochet rows. I'll see you at the end of row 10. All right, I'm coming to the end of row 10. I'm going to switch colors here on my last stitch. Make sure you still have the same stitch count. I'm going to go in and draw up a loop like I'm going to do a single crochet. Pull my new color in like that. I am going to flip off the color I was just using and tie my 2 tails and a knot, a knotty knot. Oops, my hook came off. No! Let me fix that. Oh, and his yarn splitty. There we go. All right. So now we're going to start row, just finish out row 10. Now we're going to start row 11, which is the twister kind of stitch row. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. So we're going to be working this the same, doing the twisty things the same way, except for we're just going to do them in a different space. So to start row 11, we are going to chain 1 and turn, which we did, and then we are going to single crochet into the first stitch, and now we're going to do the tiny twister into the next. So we're going to yarn over, go in, drop a loop, yarn over, stitch below, row below, drop a loop, 5 loops, yarn over and go through all 5. And then we're going to single crochet into the next. And then we're going to do a big twister into the next stitch. So we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go into stitch below, row below, draw up a loop, yarn over and go into stitch below, row below, draw up a loop. And one more time, yarn over and go into stitch below, row below, draw up a loop. Big twister has 9 loops, yarn over and go through all 9, and then single crochet into the next empty stitch. And that is what we're going to repeat now. So that kind of puts them catty cornered. Big twister is now lined up with little twister. Little twist is lined up with big twist. All right, and this is what we're going to repeat now for row 11. Again, a little twist into the next stitch, yarn over, drop a loop, yarn over and go into the row below, stitch below, drop a loop, 5 loops for little twister, yarn over and go through all 5, single crochet into the next, big twister into the next stitch, yarn over, go into it and drop a loop, yarn over and go into stitch below, row below, drop a loop, again yarn over and go into stitch below, row below, drop a loop, One more time, you see it right here. Yarn over, stitch below, row below, draw up a loop, 9 loops for the big twist, yarn over and go through all 9, and single crochet into your next empty stitch. And this is the pattern that we're going to repeat. It's pretty much the same. It's the same, but we're just, like I said, opposite, the same but opposite. All right. One more time, little twist into the next stitch. Single crochet into the next. Big twist into the next stitch. And then single crochet into your next empty. And I'm going to repeat this pattern for row 11 until I make it. We can just, make it to the end of the row. After you do your last big twist, you'll be able to do a single, a little twist, and a single at the end. All right, it should come out equal. All right, I'll meet you at the end. All right, I've made it to the end of a row 11, and I was able to end right there the same way that I started. A single crochet, little twist, single crochet. That's what I did. Single crochet, little twist, single crochet. Okay, row 12, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do a single crochet into every stitch across, just like we did before. Go into that very first stitch. Make sure that you keep count on this row. Particular is the main one that you want to make. Well, it's the main one for me that I keep count on. All right, 1 single crochet in every stitch until we make it to the end of the row. All right, coming to end of row 12, I'm going to switch colors on my last stitch, pull through, and bring in my new color, or my other color. Pull it through. I'm going to clip off this other one. Like I said, you can carry these if you want. I don't really like carrying stuff up too much, so I don't do it if I don't have to, I guess. I guess I do sometimes, but it's just carrying the yarn up just 4 rows of single crochet. It leaves a big thing. I guess unless you were going to put a blanket border around it and hide it, it'd be okay. But all right, that's it there. That's row 12. Now rows 13, 14, 15, and 16. Guess what? They're all the same. They're all single crochet rows. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we are on the right side of our work. And we are going to start row 13. And we're going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. Row 14, 1 single crochet in every stitch. Rows 15 and 16, the same. 1 single crochet in every stitch. Alright, so I'll meet back up with you at the end of row 16. Remember, just 4 more rows of single crochet. Make sure that you keep count though. Alright, I made it to the end of row 16, and I went ahead and switched colors. And now that's it. That's the end of the repeat. Now we go back down here to row 5 and repeat it all again for as long as we want it to be. So we just chain 1 and turn, and what we're doing is coming way down here, and we're doing the twister row again, but we started this way. So it's catty corner again. So I'm just repeating row 5. Single crochet in the first stitch, and then you do the big twister into the next. See how easy this was? It's just a whole bunch of single crochets, and these twisters are easy once you get them down. single crochet in the next, little twister, single crochet in the next, and repeat, big twister again. So I am just repeating a row 5. That's what you want to do. You want to repeat rows 5 and 6, 7, 8, 5, and then the row of single crochet after that in the same color as 6, and then the 4 rows of single crochet, and then your catty cornered twisters again, and then your 4 rows of single crochet, and then you go back to repeating again. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Rows 5 through 16. 12 row repeat, and 10 of them are single crochet rows. Now you can end on whatever row you want. If you don't want like to end on 4 single crochet, you can do like this row and then end on a row of, you know, whatever you want. One row of dark single crochet, or I would probably do the regular crochet on top and then 1 or 2 rows of dark single crochet on top. It's up to you. But anyways, you just keep repeating rows 5 through 16 until you get to your desired size. That's it. That's how you do it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed my tutorial and were able to follow along, realized how easy it really is. Now remember, if you don't get these the first time, do not quit, because you will get them, and you will see that this is an extremely easy stitch to do. Very easy. It looks much more intimidating. It's one of those you know, tricks your eyes that you think it's complicated, but it's not at all. It's very easy. All right, well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and if you did, give this video a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Comment below, if that always helps me out. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. I do have tons and tons of tutorials, hundreds and hundreds, so you don't want to miss those. Anything you could ever want to make, multiples of them. All right, so I'll see you guys on my next video. Okay, bye guys.